Alright, a lot of trailers have been coming out lately, and I'm not necessarily one to do a trailer reaction thing. Even though when I do want to see trailer reactions, I typically watch, small-time YouTubers like myself, like my friend Brandon, like, all the people who I've seen doing the trailer reaction videos lately. I tend to watch their videos over the big corporate ones, right? And I think that's the problem that I have with trailer reaction videos, is that they've become something that even the big corporate, big name YouTubers rely on. And so instead of seeing a few of my friends doing trailer reaction videos, which is kind of interesting to watch because they're not only short, but they're, it's just interesting to see how people react to these things. But instead of it being about that, instead of it being kind of a personable thing, now it's like, oh, we can bank on this. We're going to do our own little trailer review thing. And it's like, for crying out loud. Eventually what comes out of it is that instead of seeing 2 or 3 videos that are trailer reaction videos, now I see like 10 or 15 trailer reaction videos on the day that a big trailer comes out. Like last week there were 2. There was Star Wars and there was Batman vs. Superman. So I thought, instead of doing a trailer reaction video, I watched both of the trailers, so you're not getting my reaction, buddy. Well, actually, in a roundabout way, you kind of are, because I'm not going to be showing you my reactions as they're happening. I'm just going to be talking about them here on screen for you. So the reason I wanted to do this video was kind of to address some of the things that people have been talking about with these trailers, like some of the reactions that people have been having, kind of a response to the reaction videos. So with that in mind, let's talk about Star Wars, shall we? Alright, so with Star Wars, when the second trailer hit last week, oh my god, everyone lost their shit. Everybody loves Star Wars again, and we're all excited and hyped for it. And oh my god, oh my god, it was Han Solo, oh my god. So, yeah, when they stopped having fan aneurysms, people were genuinely happy with this trailer, which they should be. It was a really cool trailer, but I felt like it also kind of showed off how this is going to be a different movie from what George Lucas produced, right? I mean, we saw a lot more of the J.J. Abrams style of filmmaking here. This is much more of a Hollywood film than even traditional Star Wars. So you're going to see a lot more action going on and a lot more different kind of angles taken, shot selection wise. Some people may have a problem with that. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. It's just different. Something else that I noticed in the trailer was, of course, that they they parroted that line from Return of the Jedi. The Force runs strong in this family. I have it, my sister has it, you have it. And I got the sense when they were saying you have it that they were referring to someone in the Skywalker lineage that isn't Leia or Luke. I got the sense that that was like, it didn't sound exactly like it was the line exactly verbatim from the Return of the Jedi. It sounded like they were repeating the line. It sounded like a new line being said by Mark Hamill. It sounded like Mark Hamill saying the same line again in a slightly different way, in a slightly different tone for the new movie, for a new character. So there were a couple things that I took away from that. First of all, that means that we're going to get to see a new Skywalker, which is freaking awesome, and it also means that the Jedi line is not dead. Yeah! Well, how could it be dead? I mean, how can you have a Star Wars movie without a Jedi? I mean, come on. It's Star Wars. It's Jedi. The second thing that I realized when I saw that was, well, that's a reference to the original Star Wars movie. That's a reference. It's not just that it's, a character from Star Wars who's obviously knowingly saying something that he's already said before to a different character, more than likely. It's not just that. It's also like a reference. I hesitate to say it, but it's a postmodern reference. And as I was watching the trailer, I was catching kind of little glimpses here and there, stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, the difference between a Star Wars movie directed or influenced heavily by George Lucas, and a movie where he just did the story treatment and it was directed by someone like J.J. Abrams, is that J.J. Abrams grew up in a time period where everything was postmodern. Whereas George Lucas was kind of just barely being introduced to it. And while it has its place, even in the original Star Wars trilogy, the way that he did that in those movies was more based on like paying homage in indiscernible ways that you probably wouldn't be able to see for yourself unless you'd already seen the other movies and could remember the specific scenes that he was referencing. So like everything from the wipes that he used, which were, referencing earlier forms of filmmaking that had long since become considered outdated, but he was like revitalizing them in a sense with Star Wars. Those were references, postmodern references. Everything from that to, just direct references to the Searchers in the first movie, and the list goes on. There's a lot of examples like that in Star Wars. That being said, I feel like now with these movies, especially with this one, The Force Awakens from J.J. Abrams, we might even get a lot more references to stuff that is outside of the Star Wars universe and outside of maybe even film itself, to modern society even, which I think is kind of cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. It might scare some people, but I mean, that's a reality that I think we're going to have to face, is that this is a movie that's going to be, it's not just fan service, it's postmodern fan service, if you will. So you're going to see a lot of references to other things, and it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. And we're all going to have a blast with this movie, and I can't wait until it comes out. So now that I've got that out of the way, awesome. Star Wars, done. Can't wait. Let's talk about a little Batman versus Superman, eh? So with Batman versus Superman, the trailer, I mean, I don't even know what the hell happened or how the hell it happened. All I know is that, like, the trailer leaked. I feel like, I think the trailer leaked accidentally early in the day on like Thursday or Friday or something like that. And then they caught it in the bud, nipped it in the bud or something like that, and they were trying to at least nip it in the bud and keep it from debuting before it was supposed to or something. And then eventually Zack Snyder himself just posted the full trailer and just like, screw it, here you go. So yeah, it kind of seemed like a bit of a clusterfuck. So I don't know what exactly happened, how it happened all the way through, but there were some people who were unhappy with this trailer. There were some people who were just like confused by it. Like, it's a little more complicated than that, because as I predicted from the start, with all these little hints they were dropping with this movie, Batman vs. Superman, not just from the title, they were dropping all these little hints about the story of the movie without actually saying anything about the story of the movie, that led me to believe that this was going to be based on The Dark Knight Strikes Again, at least loosely. And I was not incorrect. If you watch the trailer has actually, and you can actually see a shot in the trailer that is a direct reference to a shot, to a panel, I should say, from The Dark Knight Strikes Again. So, yes, there is a lot in this movie that is referencing The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I do not think that the trailer, from what I saw from the trailer, I do not think the entire thing is just The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I think it's like an amalgamation of different stories, that one being a big influence. Frank Miller in general, his interpretation of Batman being a huge influence on the movie. But yeah, with specific scenes clearly being influenced by shots or panels from The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I can see why a lot of people would be a little bit upset, because I know there were a lot of people who did not like Dark Knight Strikes Again. But I read it, and I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever, but it was a pretty good graphic novel, you know? And when it comes right down to it, you can tell in the trailer that they didn't take everything from that. They took some of it, but they didn't take everything. Because if they had taken everything, you would have seen like an entirely different art style, entirely different style of dress. Everyone would have been walking around looking like they were from the Jetsons or something like that. But they weren't. They were dressed like normal people. So not every aspect of the Frank Miller style is there. Just certain aspects, in particular, aspects of the story and the concept of the stories that Frank Miller did, where he questioned quite frequently what makes a hero, what's the difference between good and bad, and is there a thin line between being good and bad. And in The Dark Knight Strikes Again in particular, Superman kind of rides that line between good and bad, because he's not necessarily trying to be a bad guy. It's just that he's become kind of corrupted by politicians, and Batman is unhappy with this. He feels like Superman is a super chump, and he's trying to get him to stop being a dick, essentially, and just do his fucking job and be a hero. Either be a hero or get out of the fucking sky is essentially Batman's take on it. So, yeah, when I heard that they got Ben Affleck for this, I was initially a little worried, but now, because he's a little older, right? But now that I see that the reason that he's a little older is because he's portraying the older Batman, makes perfect sense. Perfect guy for the role. This is going to be awesome. And I particularly like that scene at the end where you can kind of see the glowing eyes. A lot of people are like, oh, I hate the glowing eye Batman. It's straight from the freaking comics, man. Come on. Dark Knight Strikes Again. It's directly from the Frank Miller inspired Batman, which is fucking awesome. I'm sorry, it just is. And to be fair, a lot of people probably seeing this trailer not familiar with the stories are probably thinking, oh god, there's going to be a whole movie with Batman with glowy eyes. No. He's only wearing that suit during one particular moment in that story. So if the film follows the story to any extent at all, chances are you're only going to see him in that suit for like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So just calm your tits. But I will say this, if the movie is indeed inspired by, or if it's heavily inspired by The Dark Knight Strikes Again, I can't wait to see it, because Bats and Supes have an amazing battle. Even, like, you'd think that it wouldn't even be that difficult, because Batman doesn't have any superpowers, while Superman does. But Bat has cunning. Bats has the cunning intelligence, especially after years of working as a crime fighter. He's got all this cunning intelligence of, how to get shit done. So he takes in the graphic novel, at least, he takes a smart approach at it. And if the suit that we saw, the heavily armored, glowing eyes suit that we saw in the trailer, is any indication, he's going to be just as smart and intelligent about it in this movie, which is going to lead to an amazing fucking battle that I can't wait to see on screen. I am nerdgasming, because that's going to be such a fucking amazing battle. Just knowing what I know, which is very little about Batman and about that storyline and about, what's going on here, I am psyched. I'm so psyched to see this movie now. But I think that's what it takes. A lot of people are unhappy with this probably because they're only familiar with like the Nolan Batman movies, which are really good Batman movies. Don't get me wrong, they're freaking awesome. But if you're only familiar with that, you never read the comics, never read any graphic novels or anything like that, this trailer is going to come across as a bit, what the fuck's going on here, Take it from somebody who has a little bit more experience, a little bit more knowledge on this. You have plenty of reason to be excited about this. There is plenty of reason to go, oh my god, I can't wait. Because as I said, you can expect an epic battle between Batman and Superman, and it is not going to go as quickly as you think it will. A lot of people thinking superpower against regular power. Regular power is going down in the first round. But guess what? If it's anything like the graphic novel, Ain't going down like that. Just, you gotta give it a chance. It's going to be fucking epic. When it comes to Batman vs. Superman trailer, hell yeah. Just like Star Wars, I was just like, yes! Can't wait. What were the other trailers? There was a Mad Max one that I haven't seen yet, but they've already had a whole bunch of trailers from Mad Max coming out so far. And then there was another Terminator Genesys trailer that everyone was pissed off about because they essentially ruined the entire plot of the story, or so they think at least, with the trailer, which has happened before in the past, not with Terminator necessarily, but with other movies, where they've made a trailer that kind of gives too much of the plot away, and might be the case here. But to be fair, to be absolutely fair about that, with the previous Terminator Genesys trailers, I think a lot of the fan reaction was, I'm not interested in this. This doesn't interest me. This looks like crap. This looks stupid. Why should I care? Right? So it might have just been that the studios or whoever is in charge of making these trailers said, you know what? People aren't reacting. People aren't interested. We need to get them interested. We need to show them more. And so maybe they showed a little bit too much more, but the idea was to show us more to get our interest piqued. And to be quite honest, even though, yes, they probably gave a little bit too much away, what they did give away in the trailer got my interest piqued. So, more so than ever before now, I actually do want to see Terminator Genesys. I was just going to pass it up, probably not even going to see it in the theater, but now that trailer has sparked my interest enough that I'm probably going to see it in the theater, even though it gave away some of the plot, right? So even if it gave away some of the plot, honestly, like, by the time it comes out, you can make yourself forget it if you really want to. Come on, just let it go. Just remember that the trailer gave you a reason to want to see the movie, and you're in good shape. I mean, that's the point of a trailer, is to make you want to see the movie. And if they have to kind of give some of the stuff away to make you realize, oh, there's more to this than just a fucking cash in, then so be it. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be more than like a 6 or maybe a 7 out of 10. But if it's even as good as like Terminator Salvation, I'm probably going to enjoy it. I like Terminator Salvation. It's like a 7 out of 10. I like it. So when it comes to Terminator Genesys trailer that came out, I'm not necessarily as pissed off as everybody else is. I kind of understand why they might have had to do that, and yeah, I'm accepting of it. More accepting than most people are. So yeah. Anyways, that'll do it for today, because I'm running out of room on my SD card to record video. So otherwise I might talk about some more trailers, but I don't think there's anything else really to talk about right now. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Purr.